You're watching your favorite team stumble through another disappointing season, when suddenly they unveil a master plan so brilliant it makes you wonder if they've been playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. But what if that plan hinges on one massive gamble that could backfire spectacularly? The Golden State Warriors are sitting on the most explosive roster transformation in recent NBA history, and it's all being held hostage by one player's contract situation. While fans have been pulling their hair out over the Jonathan Kuminga saga, the Warriors' front office has been quietly orchestrating what might be the most strategic free agency haul we've seen in years. For players, for different skill sets, one unified mission: get back to championship glory before this aging core runs out of time. But here's the twist that should have every basketball fan on the edge of their seat. This entire elaborate plan could crumble if they can't resolve the Kaminga situation. It's organizational brilliance meets high-stakes gambling, and the outcome will determine whether the Warriors return to championship contention or fade into irrelevance. Let's start with the elephant in the room that's driving Warriors fans absolutely insane. Jonathan Kuminga's restricted free agency has turned into a soap opera that's paralyzing the entire organization's offseason plans. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, everything the Warriors want to accomplish this summer depends on resolving this one contract situation. Think about the psychological pressure here. The Warriors have identified exactly the players they need to compete for another championship, but they can't pull the trigger on any of them until they figure out what to do with a 21-year-old forward who might or might not be part of their future plans. It's like having the perfect recipe for a championship team, but being unable to cook because someone's hogging the kitchen. This isn't just about salary cap mathematics either. The Kaminga situation represents a fundamental organizational decision about identity and timeline. Are the Warriors committed to winning now with their aging core, or are they hedging their bets by keeping young talent for the future? They can't do both, and the longer this drags out, the more it reveals the internal conflict within their front office. The most frustrating aspect for fans is watching other teams make moves while Golden State sits paralyzed by indecision. Every day that passes is another day that potential targets could sign elsewhere, leaving the Warriors scrambling for backup options. Once the Kaminga situation gets resolved, the Warriors are prepared to unleash what amounts to a complete roster overhaul. Al Horford, Seth Curry, Gary Payton II, and Anthony Melton. Four names that individually might not seem earth-shattering, but collectively represent a masterclass in strategic roster construction. This isn't random free agency shopping. This is surgical precision targeting exactly the types of players who thrive in playoff environments and championship moments. Each acquisition addresses specific weaknesses while amplifying existing strengths, creating a roster that's built specifically for deep playoff runs rather than regular season success. The beauty of this plan lies in its balance between proven veteran leadership and complementary skill sets. These aren't players who need the ball to be effective or require special accommodation within the offensive system. They're role players in the best possible sense, specialists who excel at specific tasks while seamlessly fitting into existing team chemistry. What makes this strategy particularly brilliant is how it acknowledges the Warriors' championship window reality. With Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green all in their mid to late 30s, there's no time for development projects or patience with young talent. Every roster spot must contribute immediately to championship contention. Let's talk about the crown jewel of this potential haul, Al Horford. This signing represents everything right about the Warriors' approach and everything wrong with how other teams evaluate veteran talent. At 38 years old, Horford just contributed meaningful minutes to a championship team, yet he's available because organizations get spooked by age rather than focusing on continued production. Horford brings something the Warriors have desperately missed since their championship runs: a legitimate veteran center who understands playoff basketball at the highest level. His 11.1 points per game average over 7 seasons in Boston tells only part of the story. The real value lies in his basketball IQ, leadership, and ability to make crucial plays in crucial moments. Here's a statistic that should blow your mind. In 1,138 career games, Horford has come off the bench only 60 times. That's a player who commands respect and starting roles throughout his career, even as he's aged into his late 30s. When you're that consistently trusted by coaching staffs across multiple organizations, it speaks to intangible qualities that don't show up in traditional box scores. For the Warriors specifically, Horford solves multiple problems simultaneously. He provides the veteran leadership their young players need, the playoff experience their rotation lacks, and the positional flexibility their system demands. Most importantly, he brings recent championship experience from an organization that just executed a perfect playoff run. Beyond the strategic basketball implications, the potential addition of Seth Curry creates one of the most emotionally compelling storylines in recent NBA history. After competing against each other for over a decade, the Curry brothers would finally get the opportunity to play professional basketball together for the first time since some preseason games back in 2013. From a pure basketball perspective, Seth addresses one of Golden State's most pressing needs: reliable perimeter shooting from someone who understands how to play alongside elite scorers. His career 43.9% three-point shooting isn't lucky. It's the result of intelligent shot selection and perfect understanding of spacing concepts within team offenses. But the emotional resonance of this potential signing transcends basketball strategy entirely. This is about family, legacy, and the opportunity to create memories that extend far beyond wins and losses. Stephen Curry has accomplished everything possible in basketball, but playing professionally alongside his brother would represent a completely unique achievement that money can't buy. The basketball fit makes perfect sense too. Seth thrives in catch-and-shoot situations, doesn't need the ball to be effective, and has experience playing meaningful games for playoff-caliber teams. He's exactly the type of player who maximizes his talents within well-structured offensive systems like what the Warriors provide. His recent performance with Charlotte, where he shot 45.6% from three-point range despite reduced playing time, proves he still possesses elite shooting ability. The question isn't whether he can contribute, it's whether the Warriors can find enough minutes for another guard in an already crowded rotation. The potential return of Gary Payton II represents more than just a roster addition. It's an acknowledgement of unfinished business and organizational regret. Payton was a beloved part of the Warriors' most recent championship run before departing in free agency, and his absence was felt throughout their subsequent struggles with defensive identity and energy. Payton brings elite perimeter defense and playoff toughness that perfectly complements the Warriors' veteran core. His energy, hustle, and defensive intensity provided crucial elements during their championship run, and his departure left a noticeable void in their defensive culture that they've struggled to replace. This isn't just about basketball production either. Payton represents institutional memory and continuity with the organization's championship standards. Players like him understand what it takes to win at the highest level because they've actually done it in a Warriors uniform, creating leadership value that extends beyond statistical contributions. His return signals the Warriors' commitment to rebuilding their championship culture by bringing back players who helped establish it in the first place. It's a recognition that sometimes the grass isn't greener elsewhere, and that organizational fit matters more than pure talent evaluation. D'Anthony Melton might be the most intriguing piece of this potential acquisition puzzle. He brings defensive versatility and athletic ability that could prove crucial in playoff matchups against elite offensive players, while his ability to guard multiple positions makes him exactly the type of role player championship teams depend on. Melton's relative youth, compared to the other targets, also provides long-term value beyond just the immediate championship window. While Horford and Seth Curry are clearly short-term additions, Melton could grow with the organization and remain valuable even as the current core ages out of contention. His playoff experience with Philadelphia and Memphis gives him credibility in high-pressure situations, and his work ethic and professionalism make him an ideal culture fit for an organization built on those principles. He's the type of player who accepts his role, maximizes his opportunities, and contributes to winning without needing individual recognition. For the Warriors, this aggressive, veteran-focused approach represents a calculated bet on their remaining championship window. With their core players all facing potential decline phases, there's no time for gradual development or patient roster building around young talent. Every move must be evaluated through the lens of immediate championship contention, and acquiring proven playoff performers makes infinitely more sense than hoping younger players develop quickly enough to contribute at the highest level during crucial moments. This veteran-heavy approach acknowledges the reality of their competitive timeline while maximizing their chances of capturing another championship before their core players decline significantly. It's organizational honesty about where they are in their championship cycle. The Warriors are essentially doubling down on experience, championship DNA, and proven playoff performance rather than rolling the dice on potential and development. It's a strategy that either results in another championship run or represents the last gasp of a legendary era. Here's what makes this entire situation so compelling. It's built on the foundation of resolving the Kaminga situation correctly. If the Warriors make the wrong decision about their young forward, this entire elaborate plan could collapse, leaving them with neither present championship contention nor future development potential. The pressure on the front office is immense. They've identified the perfect veteran additions to maximize their championship window, but they can't execute any of it until they figure out their young talent situation. It's organizational decision-making under the most intense scrutiny possible. If they pull this off successfully, the Warriors transform from aging veterans trying to recapture past glory into legitimate championship threats with fresh veteran talent and renewed energy. If they botch the Kaminga situation or miss out on these veteran targets, they could find themselves stuck in basketball purgatory, too old to develop and too weak to compete. The next few weeks will determine whether this master plan represents brilliant organizational strategy or becomes a cautionary tale about overthinking simple decisions. Either way, it's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch unfold. What's your take on this elaborate Warriors plan? Do you think they should prioritize these veteran additions over keeping young talent like Kaminga? Or are they making a mistake by going all in on aging players? Jump into the comments and let me know whether you think the strategy will deliver another championship or backfire spectacularly. I'm genuinely curious to hear your predictions about how this high-stakes gamble plays out.